Hey everyone, it's Wendy from Oak Hills. As we have been out in the community talking about our expansion and campaign for Growing Our Tomorrow, we've received some feedback from the community and our employees that this information that I'll be presenting today is very useful. So here we go. Thanks for staying with us. This will probably take about 15 minutes. All right, so the history of Highland Manor and Oak Hills. Highland Manor came to be in 1958 when the community identified a need for long-term care in New Ulm. We are currently the only skilled nursing facility in New Ulm City proper. And prior to having Highland Manor, we had something that was called the Poor Farm. And we just recorded with Norma Hansen, Eileen Jacobson, and Dr. Ann Vogel about the history of New Ulm will be on New Ulm Cable Access TV. So watch for that. That's very interesting. All right, in 1995, Highland Manor needed major repairs, and it was just very much too small. We had four people to one bathroom, and the bathrooms were not big enough to accommodate walkers and wheelchairs. So residents had to be pushed down to a central bathroom where you often would have 6 people waiting in line to use the restroom that needed a lift or use their walker or wheelchair. So it just was not possible and workable any longer. So the community rallied and we built Oak Hills Living Center in 1995. The cost of building that at that time was $6.4 million, which in today's money would be just over $12 million. When Highland Manor started in 1958, it had 98 skilled nursing beds. 4 of those were decertified or delicensed to accommodate room for physical therapy. And of course, we still have a very active physical therapy department now. And do that short-term rehab for a lot of people who are coming from the hospital. So that's still very, very relevant today. In 1995, we also added 16 private paid assisted living studio apartments, which were the first assisted living in New Ulm. And those 425 square foot studio apartments were cutting edge in its time. Those apartments are exactly as they were when they were built. They're the same studios, and so it is time for a refresh. In 2003, we added our 16 one-bedroom apartments through a HUD grant. However, we were short that between the cost and the grant about $300,000. So it was back in 2003, nearly 20 years ago was the last time we had a major capital campaign, and we raised $300,000 for that addition at that time. And in 2008, we did our moratorium grant on the skilled nursing facility side of the building, where we created neighborhoods and households and went through culture change, which allowed the residents to choose what they want in their day. For instance, if someone likes to sleep in late and have waffles at 10:30 in the morning, they are welcome to it. And we have homemakers that are ready and willing to help them with whatever snacks or late breakfast or anything that they choose. Much more like home. So we started studying the admits and discharges from assisted living back in about 2015. Started noticing a few trends that those studio apartments were too small, and people were having more memory care needs than we had been seeing for a while. So we went ahead and did a market study in 2019. What we learned from that market study was a couple of key things. One of those things was just who do we serve? So we serve the market area primarily of New Ulm, Hanska, Lafayette, and Cortland, and then the also near market area north and west of us, which includes Winthrop, Fairfax, Morgan, Sleepy Eye, Gibbon, and Essig. The other thing that we learned from that market study was just how much the population of seniors will be growing. So we know the baby boomers boom is coming, but the population of 80 to 84-year-olds in Brown County between 2025 and 2050 is forecasted to grow 48%. An additional 34% for those who are 85 and over. That's a lot of growth. And compared to the United States, that growth is fairly consistent. So this is a slide from Ziegler, who is a capital investment company in the United States, brought to us by Leading Age Minnesota, which is the trade association for long-term care. And what this shows us is that between the years of 2015 and 2035, there will be a 100% increase in seniors 75 and over in the United States. So Brown County is following that trend, and that trend will just continue to rise. So in Brown County, we need 57 skilled nursing beds and 28 memory care units by 2025. So Oak Hills is not able to provide all those needs for a couple of reasons. The first reason, I'm sure you've heard of a moratorium on skilled nursing beds, and that is true. However, some of the facilities in Brown County have delicensed beds, and so some of like the outlying areas outside of New Ulm, some of those facilities have delicensed because they were set up like Highland Manor was in the 50s, where they had 4 residents to 1 bathroom. So they have delicensed some beds, so they have less residents to 1 bathroom. And other areas have just, the need in their area has declined, and so they have delicensed beds. We could purchase those beds. Skilled nursing beds are very expensive, and we also still need the physical space to house them. So building physical space is both expensive and it requires land. We are landlocked here at Oak Hills. We own the land up to the hill behind us and just a little bit of the grassy area to the front of us. And then our property goes in between us and Garden Terrace, and then the natural divide where that walking path comes through between us and the New Ulm Medical Center. So that large grassy area in front of Oak Hills on Garden Street is owned by someone else, so that's not owned by us. So building there is not an option. So what we are doing is adding 15 enhanced assisted living units and 15 memory care units in an expansion that is going into the employee parking lot. And we then will disperse and redirect parking around the building. And we are very grateful and thank the city of New Ulm for relaxing some of those easements and working with us so we can have proper parking on our land. So why enhanced assisted living? Well, the regulations between assisted living and skilled nursing are very different. Of course, in the state of Minnesota, the regulations for assisted living just became a little more strict, but they're still not as strict, therefore not as costly as skilled nursing. The other piece about assisted living and enhanced assisted living, it allows people to stay in their suite, their unit, for longer and add services as they need it versus going to the skilled nursing where that higher level of care is provided. So there's a cost difference, and it also allows us to even in our skilled nursing facility now, we have some residents here that would be probably better served in either enhanced assisted living or memory care, which would allow us to address our wait list. So the last we checked on our wait list a few weeks back, we have a wait list for 99 females and 73 males in our skilled nursing facility. So that's a very long list, and we certainly hope to be able to shorten that list quite a bit by adding these additional units. All right, so again, adding 15 memory care units on the first floor of the new addition. Second floor would be 15 enhanced assisted living units, of course, giving you extra services as you need them in your unit. And then after that, we would remodel our 16 private pay assisted living studios to offer apartment style living with a 1-bedroom apartment. Most of those would be 1-bedroom apartments. So the reason it has to be done in that order is because so the current assisted living residents that live there today need somewhere to live while their units are being remodeled. So we would require us to build first and then relocate those residents to the new facility and then remodel and assess their needs once the remodel is finished. Maybe they're content where they are. Maybe they would go back. That it would be something that our clinical staff and families would work on with residents at that time. So after those two projects are completed, then we would go ahead and add a chapel. If you've been in Oak Hills, you know we do have a chapel. It is more of a common space between the front door. You have the chapel, and then you have a assisted living dining room, and it's all one pretty much open room. So this would give us a dedicated chapel. We are non-denominational here at Oak Hills. We are here to serve the community. And so it would be a chapel, a community space where we would have our entertainment. We do continue to bring in church services from all sorts of different faith groups, and appreciate the priests and pastors that come here weekly. We also do things on those fun screens here, like broadcast Twins games. We have hosted resident funerals, and we've even hosted a few weddings here at Oak Hills. And being this is the community's home, it's not for profit. We are run by a community-led board of directors. That is the intent of Oak Hills in the future, is to be here for the community. All right, and then memory care and enhanced assisted living are, this is sort of the building, the new building structure. First floor would be memory care, walking out into this enclosed courtyard. Second floor then would be the enhanced assisted living. However, those two floors are identical to each other. So they would be able to be, programming could be changed. If 10 years down the road we need more memory care, we can make the second floor memory care too, and no additional construction would be needed. We just change the programming with our, clinical staff and facilities teams, and go ahead and make that into an additional level of care. So all of this comes, of course, with the cost, because everything does. So that new addition, the estimated budget, which is estimated by our architects, is $8.3 million. And then the renovation of the existing assisted living studios would be $3.5 million. And of course, that last piece of the community space and chapel would be $1.2 million. A total estimated project right now of $13 million. We will be fundraising for 20% of that, which at this estimate is $2.6 million. We have already raised nearly $700,000. Very grateful to the community for that. Our goal is to be at $1 million in the late spring, early summer months. And so that is, we would be ecstatic. And we do know that this fundraising is going to take a while, so we will continue to fundraise as we build. And the rest of the financing would come from bonds. So why this? Why now? Why are we doing this? What happens if we just say, oh, too many varying factors, this is just too tough, we're just not going to do it? So the trend in senior housing is changing, and is changing from what it had been years ago. So Oak Hills, again, is a nonprofit. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. And I would consider us a nursing home right now, because we have the 94 skilled beds, and that is the primary business that we offer at this point. So in the United States, there are only 23% of nursing homes that are left that are nonprofit. The rest are for-profits. So the difference in that is really the dedicated nursing time. So we focus here on quality of care and resident needs at Oak Hills. So right now we offer 4 hours of nursing time per resident per day. And nursing time means RN, LPN time. It's not counted in the certified nursing assistant time. It is 4 hours of LPN or RN time every day. So we're 5-star rated. Our newsletter that went out March 1st explained that rating and how we're rated through CMS for our nursing time. Other facilities that are not nonprofit, they are average about 2 hours. And there's a big report that is on the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid website that actually breaks that down and shows you, who is at what level of hours. And so we do know that that's a real thing. It's a fact that that is sort of what changes when the nonprofit comes out of that model. So Oak Hills is working towards what other nonprofits are doing in the US to be sustainable, and that they're becoming life plan communities. And so what that means is that we would need to offer the full continuum of care, which means we offer skilled nursing, we offer assisted living, we offer enhanced assisted living, we offer memory care. And the one piece that we do not have right now that is in our future plans, because as I have learned in my career, hope is not a strategy. So our actual strategy is to look at adding independent living apartments, which would then have us providing that full continuum of care here in New Ulm and setting us in line with the trends of senior housing in the United States in 2022. So what are for-profits versus nonprofits doing right now? Well, for-profits are looking at that boom coming, and they're building and they're buying and they're expanding, and they are using that strategy to become, sustainable for the future. Non-for-profits are a little bit more conservative. Some are expanding like we are. Some are building new, but mostly are staying kind of the same. And we know that growth is necessary to be sustainable. So we are taking that strategy along with the for-profits, and that we need to change, and we need to do that now. There will always be constraints. I know staffing comes up. So we are doing things with staffing, like enhancing our on-track training program. So our on-track training program allows us to train our nursing assistants in-house. They can train online and then do their skills with an RN here at Oak Hills. It cuts down the time of training. It cuts down the expense. So we're doing that. We also offer a scholarship program for nursing. We're also looking at technology and how that can help us with staffing. So for instance, in the new building, we are looking at a nurse call system that has some sensors in it that senses resident behavior. For instance, my grandmother's name was Betty, so we'll reference Betty. So say Betty is in memory care and Betty always sleeps through the night. However, the bed sensors have started to go off, and it's not a beep like wake you up bed sensor. It's like a quiet sensor that then tracks some reports, and the nurses see that on their nurse call system that something's going off. So it's not disrupting a resident, but it is telling the nurses a pattern and history. So the nurses can start to see that Betty has been getting up out of her bed and roaming her room and maybe using the bathroom 3-4 times a night, where Betty always slept through the night. So the nurses can see that change very quickly and respond to it, rather than having to use sort of that trained sense and just sort of sixth sense that many nurses have to say something's not right with Betty. So that would help us to provide better quality of care and ease that strain of, geez, something's wrong with Betty. Let's try to figure it out. So those things are exciting as well. All right, and of course, your impact stays here in New Ulm. We are run by a nonprofit board of directors. There is no outside company. Our CEO is Candace Schoweiler. So all those decisions are made by our leadership team right here at Oak Hills, right here in New Ulm. There is no one else outside of those folks here in New Ulm. So what I would invite you to do then is to jump on our website, and let me just show you where that is here. So you're going to go to oakhillsnewulm.com, and you're going to click on this button that says Growing Our Tomorrow. And once you click on that button that says Growing Our Tomorrow, you're going to be able to be on our events and campaigns page, where there are some excellent videos that you can watch of the building, 3D models. And of course, my bandwidth is a little strained here. But here we go. So you can go ahead and you can jump down here on this page and watch these 3D walkthrough videos, which will show you more information about the campaign, as well as allow you to make a pledge. So we need your support here in New Ulm. We appreciate your time. Please reach out if you have any questions or concerns. You can reach me at 507-233-0851 or Wendy Lang at oakhillsnewulm.com. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate your support and have a great day.